What's up, my beautiful people? So welcome back to List Talks Vibes. I hope you guys are feeling great. I hope you guys are feeling awesome. And I hope you guys are ready for these good vibes that I'm about to talk about. I'm talking about breaking free, my peeps. Breaking free from using alcohol or any substance to numb yourself. Breaking from that escape and finding emotional liberation and just a path towards healing. While I was drinking, I was mainly drinking because I didn't know how to deal with emotions from a really young age. I was a very angry little girl, and there was a lot of stuff I went through too, and I would feel sad and guilty a lot of the times, and I just didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel sad because I thought that made me weak, because I would get sad and I would just want to cry. And I felt like that meant I was weak. I just didn't want to feel that. So I would go towards alcohol. And also, when I would get angry, I know when I would get angry, I would just want to cuss somebody out, cuss at that person. I would literally, like, I feel like I would go crazy. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to let it out in a healthy way. You know, there was times where shit, I literally punched the wall. I just didn't know how to deal with any of that. So I'd go to alcohol to just numb myself, not feel anything, and just kind of forget about it. That's not a way to let go. That's not a way to deal with your emotions. You're just kind of pushing it under the rug, and they're all going to come to the surface later on in your life. That's not the way to deal with anything. Alcohol just leads to more problems, and it's like those emotions just get bigger and bigger. That negativity, the madness, the sadness, it just gets bigger, where you're then going to feel like you're going crazy. You're just gonna have all these emotions all over the place, and you're not going to know what to do with them. So it's better to face them now then face them later on. And you want to learn to do it in a healthy way where you're not hurting somebody else's feelings. If you need to punch something, then punch a pillow. You know, you're not hurting anybody. Sometimes you might just need that. You might need to scream, cry, whatever it is. You want to let out those emotions, not act on it, and not let those emotions consume you. Facing your emotions is crucial for your mental health and for personal growth, to be honest, because confronting those emotions helps with your mental well-being, because instead of just thinking about and playing all these scenarios and just, all up in your mind, you are actually confronting them instead of just pushing them away or just trying to forget about them and distracting yourself with something else. No, because then you're not doing anything. You're just hurting yourself mentally even more. And acknowledging them is so important for growth, because you're acknowledging them. You are being accountable, and you are going to do something about them. That's growth. You're learning from those emotions. You're learning more about where they're coming from, because you're going to dig deep, and you're learning more about yourself and how to deal with them. That is personal growth, okay? Don't think about it as something negative where you're just like, I don't know what to do. It's okay if you don't know what to do in the beginning, because you're learning through the process, and there's no right and wrong. It's just what works for you, and that's growth, because then you will know what to do when you are confronted with similar emotions that come up later on. Remember that alcohol, and honestly any substance, is just a temporary relief, and it helps you escape at that moment for a brief moment. It doesn't help you forget and numb yourself for the rest of your life. It doesn't address the root cause of your emotional pain. It doesn't help with anything. It's not helping you heal. That's just like a short term pleasure. It's nothing long term that's going to help you long term, nor does it help you in the short term. It helps you escape. You might not feel it for a little bit, but then it's going to come up again. It might not come up right that second after. It might come up a week later, a month later, but it's most definitely going to come up. And obviously, you don't want it to come up. So that's where you are then depending on the alcohol, where you're like, well, let me just drink and drink and drink and drink. And you just end up depending on alcohol to escape every day, to literally not think about your problems, about you, about your situations, to not feel anything. Instead of alcohol resolving any of your issues, it's actually creating more issues because it puts you in this negative state. It rises negative feelings, negative emotions, which are going to be more tough for you to handle and actually control in the long run. You know, you might think it's fun and all, but it's really not fun. You want to stop escaping and start your healing journey. You want to understand your feelings. You want to understand where they are coming from. You want to understand yourself. You need to start giving a fuck about yourself and not putting yourself to the side, your emotions to the side. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be harder in the long run. Those emotions are going to triple up. It's not going to be like how they currently are. It's you're letting them consume you, to be honest. You think you are letting go of those emotions and just doing I don't know what. You're literally just pushing them to the side when you are escaping, but you are feeding those emotions with more negativity by drinking the alcohol. It's going to be harder to deal with them because it's just going to be so many things. So many things are just going to hit you at once. And since it's been what you think easier for you to just drink it away, that's just what you're going to continue to want to do instead of actually face it. Which, yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's all worth it, and that's growth, and that's a step towards self-love, towards taking care of yourself, towards understanding yourself and those feelings, where they are coming from, getting to the root cause. You're just creating this negative cycle, relying on alcohol to cope. You're creating this dependency lifestyle on alcohol or on any other substance that you might be using. Or if you're just doing alcohol, that dependency is going to lead you somewhere worse. And I know this because I went through this. I experienced this. I was just depending on alcohol, and I wanted something stronger. I wanted literally to escape. I wanted to numb myself. I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about me. I didn't give a fuck about my life, about anything. And what did that lead to? It led to cocaine. And you don't think about the damage that it's doing to you physically, but especially mentally, because nobody really tells you about these things. You might hear, oh, it's bad for you. Yeah, I've heard, that it's bad for you, but I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck. I especially didn't know about mental health. And let me tell you that it just made it worse. It literally just made it worse. And I just, I started depending on that. Alcohol affects everything about you. It turns you into some person that's really not you. It's really another spirit taking over your body. And it affects not only the relationship with yourself, but the relationships you have with other people, with those people around you, your friends, your family. Because what you're doing is something negative. If there's people around you that's positive, you think they're going to be around you, around that negativity? No, they're not going to want to be around you, and you are going to lose people, genuine people that you have a true connection with, because with you just drinking, you're going to attract people who are also drinking their life away, who are just numbing and escaping. You are going to lose those people that actually care about you, that actually love you, and that are actually trying to level up in life. They're going to grow and they're going to leave you behind. You're going to stay behind with all of these people who are also escaping and numbing themselves. When you surround yourself with that, it's just going to be harder to get out of that, because that's all that's around you. Those people that are growing might help you, but you're not going to take it, because you really have to help out yourself first, and you're going to be, how would you say this in English? you're just going to be aferrado to do what you want to do and to keep numbing instead of actually realizing what it's doing to you, to your relationships. You're not going to give a fuck about your life. You don't give a fuck about you. So you're just going to stay there and not even at the same place. You're going to keep going backwards. When you stop drinking, doing any substance, going sober, I guess, sobriety. I just don't like the word sober because you're not working towards being sober. You're working towards recovering yourself, your true self. When you just quit, there's a lot you're going to have to do. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be work you are going to have to put in. Your mind at first might be all over the place, but you are going to be able to make more clear decisions and you're going to have a clear view because you're not going to be numbed and escape, somewhere, who knows where, in La La Land. That shows growth. That is growth and resilience. You might not want to handle your emotions right away, and you don't have to handle all of them all at once. Take it slow, one at a time. The point is that you are actually taking an approach to handling them, to loving yourself, to taking care of you, and to level up and start seeking healthy alternatives. Explore different things. Try meditation, try journaling. If you want to try therapy, try therapy. Going just on a walk outside in nature, to the park, at the beach, that helps so much with clearing your mind, with understanding yourself, with letting your emotions be, with feeling. I know sometimes in the beginning I would just go to the beach and I would see the sunset. There was times where I would wake up super early so I can go and see the sunrise, and I would literally just cry. What was I crying about? I honestly am not sure. It was probably just everything, all that crying that I had held back that I just needed to let out, and I would just let myself be. I would take my journal because after I might feel like journaling, I would talk to myself, but I would be there for me, okay? I wouldn't stop myself. I wouldn't really ask myself, like, what am I doing? Why am I crying? I would just let myself be. And it was just, it was just beautiful, and it was relief. I felt more free and more light, like I had just lifted this weight off of my shoulders. It's things like that, simple things. You might need a cry, you might need a couple cries, you might need a lot of journaling, a lot of meditation. You might want to talk to somebody about it, but that's where you should start, talking to yourself. Journaling is a great way to communicate with yourself. You could also just talk out loud with yourself because nobody knows what you are feeling like you. And you might want to be heard, or you might want somebody to relate to. But for what? You want to do this yourself and you want to handle yourself, okay? There's so much help you can get. But at the end of the day, you really have to help out yourself. You have to put in the work. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. Some things might work for you and some things might not. That's why take the chance and explore different things. I don't know, draw, start drawing, start painting, whatever it is, whatever brings you happiness. For me, meditation is something that I'm just focused on, like even when I'm reading, I feel like I'm meditating sometimes, even though I'm reading a story, because I'm just really focused into that. It's also like a way of connecting with myself. I feel like I'm reading to my inner child. I used to draw, and when I would draw, it was just meditating because that's all that was on my mind. Not even on my mind. I would just feel it and I would draw it. I just let my hand be. I wasn't thinking about being perfect, about what I really wanted to draw. I just felt like drawing whatever the fuck it was, You want to do stuff that promotes emotional well-being instead of having negative consequences. You want something that promotes growth, that promotes happiness, peace, that's actually helping you heal. And where I would suggest you start, honestly, is with what you consume, with what you are eating, because it's time to take into consideration your well-being overall, physically, mentally, emotionally. But honestly, it really all starts with what you are consuming. Start eating healthier. I'm not here to tell you what the fuck to eat and what not to eat, but I know when I started eating healthier, started eating more fruits, more veggies, and juices, I felt so much better overall. Mentally, physically, I was full of energy now, and my mind just wasn't so chaotic. So that helps a lot, and I strongly suggest you start there, because when you feed yourself junk, you're going to feel like junk, you're going to think junk, and you're going to look like junk. You know what I'm saying? Because fast food, greasy foods gives you acne, my peeps. You want to start building emotional resilience by actually facing those emotions and not relying on alcohol for whatever reason. Do you think it's going to help you? When you stop relying on alcohol, it just shows how strong you are, how much you care about yourself, how much you love yourself. And it also helps with your emotional intelligence. Just being able to navigate through things with a clear mind, with your actual feelings, because it's okay to feel, okay? It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry, to feel mad. It's okay to have those feelings. We have them for a reason. You do not want to let them consume you and just push them under the rug like, oh, I shouldn't be getting mad or I shouldn't be getting sad. And that comes from trauma or like the household that you grew up. I know for me, as a little girl, I was told getting angry makes you ugly. It makes it seem like you're not a pretty girl, an educated girl. Pretty girls never get mad. So that's why I would try not to get mad with after I just didn't give a fuck and I just became a really angry person, because I feel like I would try so hard not to get mad and I would just push it away, where I just one day bursted and I just became this person full of anger. You don't want to get to that point. You want to handle it. You want to feel it. And you want to let it go in a healthy way. You want to find these healthy alternatives to help you cope with that anger. Like journaling, whatever it is, something that's actually helping you. Letting go properly, okay? Not just pushing it to the side and trying not to feel it, distracting yourself, escaping. No, you want to go through the whole process of feeling it, asking yourself where it's coming from, why you feel like this, especially if it's from somebody else where you're letting others control your emotions. I get mad sometimes, angry, sad, mostly from me. Like if I did something, a mistake or whatever, I didn't get to something, I'm gonna be like, fuck, like I didn't do this, I didn't get to this or whatever. But I'm like, hey, it's fine. Like, it's okay. I'm not going to be harsh on myself. I'll feel a little bit mad. Okay. But then I let it go, because what's the point of getting mad? Nothing. It's not going to help with anything. I don't let it consume me, where before I used to. I'll feel it for however long it is, but I don't let it get to that extent, because for what? Then you start getting all these thoughts and all these feelings. No. But I especially do not let others control my emotions. I don't let myself get mad over what somebody else did, over things that I just have no control over. When you quit, that shows your accountability for your actions, okay? Because you are now realizing that those negative actions, the drinking, whatever substance it is that you were doing, wasn't helping you at all. And you are realizing that that was your choice. You decided to go that route. And now you're going another route. It feels good, and that just shows growth, and that just shows a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care. That shows a lot of responsibility for yourself, for your well-being, because you are no longer depending on these external things. You're depending on yourself now, on your growth, on you to become better, to do better for you. When you're under the influence, when you are drunk and you are drinking, it's like you feel like this cloud. You're not thinking clearly. You're thinking under the influence. And you do these crazy stuff, make these crazy decisions. But when you stop, you have a better understanding of things. You actually think about your decisions. And don't think too much, because you can start overthinking. But you're just like aware of consequences when you're under the influence, when you're drinking. You're just like, oh, fuck it, I'll do this. Oh, fuck it, I'll do that. You want to just keep into consideration what your actions today, how they will affect you tomorrow, in a month, in a year, in the future. Suppressing your emotions through drinking makes you disconnect from yourself. It disconnects all of you, mind, body, and soul. So it's time to reconnect, my peeps. It's time to stop drinking. It's time to really connect with yourself, all of you, and to handle your emotions, okay? To actually face them, not suppress them. It's time to feel. You want to feel, and don't be scared of it. There's nothing wrong with feeling all types of feelings. You have to let them be. You have to feel. You have to feel in order for you to let them go. See where they're coming from. If you feel some type of way and you don't like it, okay, get to the root cause of why is it that you feel some type of way for something. If somebody does something and it makes you feel some type of way, why? There's their trauma behind it, something keeps triggering you, whatever it is, you want to get to the root cause and you want to heal. And it starts by feeling. You want to start feeling, okay? Because we have these emotions for a reason. It's important for you to feel, or else we wouldn't have emotions. Like even anger and sadness, it's important to feel those things because it's part of the healing journey. It's time to take care of yourself, okay? It's time to take care of your well-being. It's time to feel. It's time to stop suppressing your emotions through alcohol or any substance, my peeps. I really hope that this helps you guys into taking the next step of quitting drinking, quitting smoking, quitting doing any other type of drug, quitting doing anything that's negative and that brings you negative consequences and that brings you negative feelings. Because I know when I would drink, okay, I'd escape in that moment, but after I would feel bad about myself. And what would I do? I didn't want to feel bad about myself, so I'd go straight to drinking again. And that is not good, okay? Be accountable. Start taking accountability for your actions. If you don't like it, all right, then change it. You know what I'm saying? Start making these positive changes slowly but surely, my peeps. I really hope that this helps you. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in to Liz Talks Vibes. I love you guys. Speak good vibes to yourself and speak good vibes to others. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode, my beautiful peeps.